Well, hello there. Happy New Year. Welcome back to At the Stove with Audrey Grove. I am so happy to invite you into my kitchen. It's been a while. I hope you're all doing well. I survived the last few months just like you did, and we're hoping good thoughts for a good, healthy, happy 2022. Today, we are going to be making a recipe from the Rachael Ray cooking show that I saw, and I thought it just sounded so good to make in the winter. And even more so today, it's snowing out. So this is a perfect stay inside and eat some really good soup. And this soup is a Spanish lentil soup with potatoes. It has all really good things in it. It has lentils for protein, it has spinach for our leafy greens, potatoes, onions, garlic. So before we even started filming this morning, I've been a busy girl. I chopped up a large Spanish onion. I chopped up 2 russet potatoes, diced them up really small. I chopped and grated some garlic, 4 cloves of garlic. What else? I cleaned 1.5 cups of green lentils. So I rinsed them and picked through them, so we're only using the best. And the other thing that I did before we even started was I took our broth, and today I'm using vegetable broth, but you could use chicken broth and probably beef broth as well. But I would stick to chicken or vegetable for this soup. Anyway, I gently warmed this broth up, and it's, 2 quarts of veggie broth. And I took 2 large pinches of saffron, put it in, and just let them bloom. So full disclosure, this is my first time cooking with saffron, so see how it goes. I've heard that it makes things taste great. So that broth is ready. It's warmed, and the saffron has bloomed in the warm liquid. Now I'm gonna take my potatoes and just drain them out because I put them in water while I was getting everything ready so that they wouldn't turn brown. And we'll just give it a nice little toss. Let's see, let's get every piece of potato we can. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this potato and put it in our Dutch oven that has some extra virgin olive oil, or EVOO as Rachael Ray likes to say, that is already warmed. So we're gonna put our potatoes in, but I do wanna make sure I get all the water out as much as possible. Okay, and in the pot, you're gonna hear a nice little sizzle. Excellent. What I like about this soup is that, like I said before, it has so many really great things. Now, because it's a snow day and I'm definitely not getting in my car and running to the store, there are 2 ingredients that I did not have. So one of them was called, I have to read it because I don't even know what they are. Roasted piquillo peppers in water. So I didn't have any of that. We don't love spicy foods here, but the recipe says that you can leave them out if you like, or put them in for just a little bitty heat. So if I did have them, I'd probably put in half of the jar. Anyway, I didn't have that. And the other thing I didn't have was coriander. So I made up my spice mix. Just give you a quick little look. And I wish you could smell how wonderful this is. So the 3 spices that they asked you to combine are coriander, cumin, and smoked paprika. So I've never cooked with smoked paprika before. So I went to a local gourmet store and bought some Spanish paprika, just enough to use for a few recipes. Super expensive. So I didn't have the coriander. So I thought, how am I gonna substitute that? I'm not going out. Hang on, I'm gonna do a quick little, yeah, these potatoes are cooking up. So I Googled what spices can you substitute for coriander and came up with cumin. So I used cumin, smoked paprika, curry, because I already have cumin in here. I added curry instead of the coriander. So that's what our spice blend is. It smells so good. So just a little tip for the next time you're cutting up onions. If you look at my board, I have this wet paper towel on the side of the board. I read somewhere that when you're chopping onions, so that you don't start to get the onion fumes in your eyes and start to cry, you wet a paper towel and just put it on the edge of your cutting board and then chop your onions, do everything you have to do. I have to tell you that I've been doing this for a few months now and it completely works. No more crying over onions. All right, so we're gonna just give this a little stir. I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit. I don't know about you, but anything that has potatoes in it, I'm all in. So this is really nice. I'm just gonna check my recipe. So it says to add salt and pepper. So I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper. And a little bit of salt. I'm gonna just kind of scoop it. I think that's good, maybe a tiny bit more, not too much. We don't cook with salt typically in this house, but because I don't have some of the things that the recipe called from, I will put some salt in to make sure that we have all the good flavor that we do have come to life. So, potatoes are cooking. I'm going to show them to you. Let's see. Beautifully diced, really small potatoes. They smell good. Back on the stove. I have to tell you that I did a little bit of cheating this morning as I was prepping. I'm going to pull it out of the dishwasher. So when the recipe called for really small dice for both the Spanish onion and the potato, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be cutting forever. But I have this little vegetable cutter. It's called the alligator. And you put your veggies in here where the grate is. And then you just bring the top down, and it's even got a measuring cup. So that's a really wonderful way to save a little time. And afterwards, when I'm cleaning everything up, I will hand wash that and then put it away. Okay, so some other things that we need for our soup, just to go over it. Some sherry. I have cooking sherry. Tomato paste. I love the kind that come in the tube, because then you don't waste when you open those small cans. You almost never use the whole thing. Bay leaf. And believe it or not, blood orange. We're gonna use some of the blood orange zest to sprinkle over the soup when we eat it, which sounds really strange, but Rachael Ray promises that it'll be delicious. All right, let's give our potatoes one more nice stir around, because they do want to stick to the bottom and we don't want them to do that. We're gonna put in our onions. So these are nicely cut up through my little vegetable alligator cutter. And by the way, you can find those anywhere. I believe that I might have even gotten that one at Marshall's. So we're just gonna mix this around. And now I'm gonna add 2 bay leaves for some nice flavor. So let's see, let's get 2 good ones. 1 2. I'm just checking 2 bay leaves. This one's kind of small. Let's see if we can find, bigger one. All right, throw those 2 in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let that soften for a few minutes and we'll be back to continue cooking. So our vegetables have had a chance, our onions and potatoes have had a chance to soften, cooking in the extra virgin olive oil with the bay leaves. So the next thing we're gonna add is our chopped minced garlic. So in that goes, and this soup has a lot of flavor, a lot. So we're just gonna stir that around for a moment because we don't want the garlic to burn. And I'm also gonna put in our spices. So remember, this is our spice blend of cumin, smoked paprika, and a little bit of curry. So I'm just gonna mix that in. Smells so good in here. I wish you could be here to smell it and then to join me, of course, for a cup of soup. But as always, if anybody wants this recipe, you can contact me at Audrey Grove, at agrove@masonicare.org. Also, I'll make sure that the activities manager has the recipe as well. Okay, so now we're gonna add some wet ingredients. We're gonna put in 3 tablespoons of our tomato paste. So there's 1, 2, and 1 more. Oh my gosh, it's so fragrant in the kitchen right now. Wish you were here. Okay, whoop, we got stuff flying everywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly mix that a little bit. I'm gonna lower the heat a tiny bit. And then I'm gonna add some sherry in. So this one is cooking sherry, like I said. And we're gonna do 2 tablespoons. I don't know about you, but I love the smell of cooking sherry in recipes. So good. Let's see. It's smelling really good in my house. Okay, so I'm just gonna mix that around. I wanna break up the tomato paste into the potatoes and onions. Oh my goodness. So let's see if I can turn the burner off and show you how lovely that looks. I could get a little steam bath as well, a little facial. Okay, so it smells so good. Okay, now we're gonna add more liquid. Here is our 2 quarts of vegetable broth, gently warmed, that have our saffron that have bloomed in the broth. So we're gonna add that in. Oh, that looks fabulous. Okay, put this back here. And then our lentils. So remember I mentioned that I had cleaned the lentils, rinsed them really well, picked through, got out any bad ones, so there they are. These are green lentils. So we're gonna put these in. That went easy. And we'll give it a little mix around. I'm gonna turn my heat back on and I'm gonna bring this to a boil. And we're gonna cook this for about 40 to 45 minutes. After it comes to a boil, I'm gonna lower it to a nice gentle simmer. And we'll be back when our simmering time is over. We're back now. Our soup has cooked and simmered for 35 minutes and it smells amazing. So here's the soup, and it's really more like a stew. which is a stew and a soup, which I kind of like that, especially in the winter. To finish it off, I made a gremolata of blood orange zest, crushed red pepper, and fresh parsley. So I'm just gonna garnish my soup with a little of that, just a little bit. It smells, just that alone smells so good. And now we're gonna taste it. So I'm just gonna mix in the gremolata so I get that nice flavor throughout my soup. And here we go. It's really hot. As you can see, it's steaming, so I don't wanna burn my mouth. This is really good. Super healthy for you. So if you noticed at the beginning, I talked about putting spinach in the soup because that's what the recipe called for. But while the soup was cooking and I took my spinach out to roughly chop, I realized that the spinach had gone bad. So if you do want to add spinach to the soup, this would be the time to add it. Just let the spinach wilt in, kind of keep mixing it around. And that makes our soup even healthier with those leafy greens. But this is fantastic. I hope that you'll try it. I have missed you guys and hope that everybody's doing well. And don't forget, cooking is love that you can taste. Be well.